What's up, guys? And so, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is finally here, and then this is the third and final Guardians film by James Gunn. With this film, I think this is like one of the best MCU films that like Marvel has put out. I think it's like the best MCU film since Endgame. It was just everything about the film in general. It just felt like so good, and even that they are heartbreaking and emotional scenes, even the Rocket's tragic backstory, it played out super well, and even with the High Evolutionary as a villain, and even with everything in general that happened in this film, it was just so awesome and a perfect conclusion and set out to the Guardians as well. And so in this video, will be a beautiful spoiler review for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, going over everything that went down and going over everything that they may have missed, and to talk about the future of the new Guardians team as they're going to be a part of the MCU, even with future products and so much more. But if you haven't seen the film, this is going to be your spoiler warning, so get out of the video now and come back to this video after you see the movie. And if you're new to the channel, it draws like this, be sure to subscribe to the bell so don't miss out on future videos of this. So let's get into it. And now I really like to have this film started out with just the intro, and I really love this Marvel intro. Like it was a tribute to the Guardians with their journey throughout the entire MCU from Guardians 1 all the way up until now, and featured scenes from other Guardians films, even from Infinity War and Endgame. So that was a nice touch. That with this Marvel intro, it was like any other Marvel intro, but this was an intro dedicated to the Guardians. And now with this film, we open up on Rocket's tragic backstory from when he was a baby, and even with High Evolutionary and where he came from. It's because with High Evolutionary, who is the main villain of this film, he experiments on animals. He cages them up and just like throws them away. And even with his hand reach out for a baby raccoon who is Rocket, but of course that was a flashback. And even with the Guardians who are now on nowhere, that they are destined to live without Gamora, and then this is the official headquarters for the Guardians of the Galaxy. And then we see Rocket just walking around and seeing like Peter who is drunk, and like, even as we see the Guardians just like carrying him to his bed, and even with his title card right here. I mean, James Gunn never misses with the title cards from Guardians of Volume 1 and 2, and now with the Guardians of Volume 3. I mean, this title card is just be beautiful to witness, especially as Peter says to Nebula. I mean, I love you, Gamora, and you with Peter who is still like struggling to get used to the loss of Gamora. And now, especially in this scene right here, as we can see, as Rocket is playing some music, and then we see, I don't know what like just like coming in and just like attacking Rocket. It's because with High Evolutionary that wants Rocket, and even with I don't know Warlock who's described as an anti-hero, like fully attacks him and like literally gets away from him, and then we can see all the other Guardians fighting back, including for Nebula, Groot, and even Drax as well. And I love the fight scene, and then like Drax and then Adam put up a fight, and then as we can see, Nebula is almost killed, and then and as we can see that with Adam Warlock, he shoots Rocket, and then we can see that like within like he was created by the High Evolutionary, that he needs like a passkey in order to keep him alive. And so with the Guardians at the end to go on a mission to the High Evolutionary Lab on a counter Earth to get that passkey. And next is we can see the Guardians here on their ship observing Rocket to make sure he's okay. And I'm pretty sure with the Rocket he's actually dying after being shot by I don't know Warlock. With a Peter he reveals that Rocket will like tell everyone where he came from, and it's because he was actually experimented by the High Evolutionary, which I'll get to in a bit in this review right here. And then I realize I need like a passkey in order to keep Rocket alive and to actually save him. And next, as we see the Guardians in their spacesuits in space, trying to get into the Orgo's Corp, and with the High Evolutionary headquarters, which the Orgo Corp, and that is trying to retrieve a rocket's file. Because with the rocket who was created by the High Evolutionary, I mean, he was experimented on, and with its file, it could help the Guardians figure out what's happening with a rocket and how can they save him. And then as we can see here in the Orgo Corp, and we see a few cameos in here, and that's with James Gunn's wife, Jennifer Holland, and Daniela Menachem, who played a Ratcatcher from the Suicide Squad, and even Nathan Fillion as well. And then as we can see with the scene right here, and even with Peter says to Gamora that like this is not the Gamora that he knows, and even with the scene right here.
Whoever it was that you were in love with, it sounds more like her.
Her? Do not bring me.
And next here we see the Guardians finally retrieve the file, and then with the Orgo's Corp with the alarm that goes off, and then we see the Guardians under attack as they infiltrated the headquarters, and then we see right here Drax being shot by Nathan Fillion's character, and then as we see Drax has been shot, and with the Guardians that are trying to get out there. It was one of our death predictions if Drax was going to die, but like unfortunately he ultimately survived that shot, like with that shot that was wounded to his chest, even with Drax that we thought he was going to die. And next, as we get to see them observing our rocket's file, and even with its code, and that has suddenly been removed from that file, and even as they speculated that with Theo, while the High Evolutionary survivors, and that like might have the passkey like inside of his head, and which they need in order to keep Rocket alive and to save him, and then to travel to Counter Earth, and this is with Theo, which Peter does pass by in records, and even I didn't need Theo in order to get that pass key. And next, as we get to see him arrive on Counter Earth, we see the creature beings who are like approaching the Guardians as they are leaving from their ship to meet these people, and then as we see this funny scene here, and with this creature that passes and drags the dodgeball, and then that's like hitting her with which I think was the most hilarious scene in the entire film, and then like with the Guardians they get hit by like rocks, and then with a lady creature that has her leg hurt, and even with a Peter that I shouldn't try to help her. And then as we see the Guardians right here like in our house, and as like showing the lady creature, with a raccoon that he is dying, and he needs like a pass key in order to keep him alive, and then like a man that she can help, and then what she does is leading the Guardians to that pyramid, which is the High Evolutionary's lab, which has Theo on it, and in order to get that passkey, and then they take off in a car, and with its uncensored F-bomb that was spoken by Peter Quill, and I thought that was most awesome line to ever witness in this film, and even with the MCU having its first F-bomb, and even with Marvel that they all my Disney, and it is a PG-13 film, and I just love that Marvel used the first F-bomb. And plus, even the Rocket's backstory right here, and with the flashbacks, and that like contain his backstory throughout the film, it was truly heartbreaking to witness. It was also very important to know where Rocket came from, and of course he was a lot of with all those animals, including that he had friends on Counter Earth with Lyle the Otter, played by Linda Cardinelli, and even with the rest of them. I didn't make friends, and even with Rocket as his like he envisions that they'll fly into the forever and beautiful sky with his friends, and even making things that fly. Even the high evolutionary that wants to do experiments on the animals, and then just like throw them away, and even with the high evolutionary in this film, he was a very like hatred, and like you just like seem to really hate that and everything that I did with this film, that I was locking up the animals and cages and then just throw them away. Plus with the high evolutionary, I thought he was like the best MCU villain, and that was played out so well in this film, and the way that he was involved with Rocket's backstory, it was truly heartbreaking. And next, as we see, as the Guardians are arriving to his lab, and we see them walking past a high evolutionary and his advisor clearing up for Theo that has the passkey inside of him, which the Guardians need to keep Rocket alive and to save him. And then even with the bomb that's like blown up, it's just a distraction to get that passkey. And then we see as Peter immediately jumps out the window and just grabs Theo out of the window with them, and you went to get that passkey. And then we see that the most epic moment right here is Peter is trying to get the passkey out of Theo, and then with Groot as like as saving them, and then we see Groot has wings, like make him fly. I think that this was truly the most epic moment. This is definitely a callback the Toy Story for when it was a Buzz was flying. What do you think? This is a trying to reference to that, and then even with a deal that gets killed by a Peter and like gets that passkey, and even as they are treatment, as we see a Gamora here leading the Benatar. And next is we see the Guardians with the passkey, and then as trying to keep Rocket alive, but then suddenly we thought for a second that he dies, and then after that he like we see him in this afterlife with all his friends from the past who are dead, including for Lila, and then with the Rocket that wants to go with them, but then with Lila as she says, but not yet, and then with the Rocket, he's then brought back to life with the passkey that goes through, and with the Rocket that's ready to fight with the Guardians. With this moment right here with Nebula being relieved and that Rocket is alive, that he is fine, which is truly a heartwarming to see. And next is we see Drax, Mantis, and Nebula that are on the high evolutionary's lab as to take off, and then we can see that they encounter a bunch of kids who are prison, and that's where we meet Bela Vel, who is with the other kids, and then with the Drax, Mantis, and Nebula they scare him, and then we can see Drax making monkey noises that he reveals, and that he did have a daughter along with his wife as well, and then even with Drax, he was born to be a dad, and even he was trying to entertain other kids, and then even with high evolutionary, and then that almost want to capture them himself. And then we see Drax, Mantis, and Nebula being captured, and then they encounter Whiskas, and this is the actually monsters that we saw in the opening scene of Guardians of Volume 2, and then with Mantis as like trying to side with them, and then the creatures become friendly with her, and then we see Kraglin and Cosmo on Nowhere as they are being attacked, and then as we see Cosmo using his powers to take them down, and even with a Cosmo and that has super powers now, and I really enjoy his character even more. And then as we can see, as the lab is blowing up, and with the kids that are trying to get out there, and with a Cosmo that builds a tunnel and from a Kraglin ship over to the lab that is blowing up and leading other kids out there, and with a rocket that is leading them out, and then he sees a bunch of cages, and he encounters a cage full of baby raccoons, and then he does the most heroic thing, which is let them free, and then he says on here it says a raccoon, and this was a Rocket's backstory, and he doesn't want them to go through the same thing that he did, which I think was truly heroic. And then as we see this epic fight between Rocket and the High Evolutionary, and he suddenly gets caught, and the High Evolutionary is really trying to kill him. And then with the High Evolutionary, he calls Rocket by my names, some called like abandoned and like some like creature. But then Rocket reveals that he is Rocket a raccoon, and then he shoots them, and then with his face, I get rips off by Gamora, and then it's leave there, and then it was just a mask, but like this is with the High Evolutionary that is killed. And next is we can see here where the Guardians that like flee the lab and going onto the ship and taking the animals with them. And then as we can see, as Peter is the only one left, and then he runs out there and jumps across in space into trying to get to the ship. And then as we can see for a second here, and his face freezes up, and then that we see him die. But then when Warlock he rescues Peter because he wouldn't let him die in space. And now with this ending right here, which I think was like a perfect setup for the Guardians, and with the Rocket that's down named like Castle Rocket Raccoon, and with the Gamora who is sent back to the Ravagers, and even with the Peter who's now retired and is now back on Earth, and even with all of them like dancing on nowhere, and as we see Rocket and Groot dance, and like even as we see the Guardians going their subways like Chloe for Drax and Mantis, and especially with this movie as a whole, which I truly loved, and this was a perfect setup for the Guardians and a beautiful finale to this trilogy, and as we see all of them celebrating on nowhere. And yeah, with the Guardians of Volume 3, I think this was like one of the best MCU films, and this was a perfect conclusion to the trilogy, and a beautiful setup to the Guardians, and like even for what's next for the new Guardians team in the future of the MCU, I guess we'll just have to wait and see, and there's going to be a new team that's going to be involved in Secret Wars as well, and like, even with this right here at the end of the post-credit scene, and with Peter as back on Earth, who is retired, that says that the legendary Star-Lord will return, and even with Peter, like I hope that has like solo projects, and like even that he is back on Earth, but with the new Guardians team, as we see right here, I think they're gonna be around for a while, and in the future of the MCU, and even with everyone going their separate ways. And so that is gonna be for this video. Let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below, and what your thoughts on Guardians of Volume 3, and give me a rating between 1 out of 10. Get this video like and subscribe to turn on notification of all future videos, and for live updates you always follow me on Twitter. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.